Hey, it's Andy with Midmo Dents. Got another video for you. If you've ever wondered whether dents on a aluminum panel can be fixed, we got an F-150 that we're going to walk you through the repair process. Here it is. First, we're going to get a good look at this thing and get these scuffs off the door and any kind of dirt that's on there. I'm going to use a little lacquer thinner to get that paint transfer off there before we get a better look. There's a good look at the dents we're going to be working on today. Next, we're going to start by getting the door panel off this thing. It's usually just a couple screws on these, plus a bunch of little clips that will get popped off there now. Now that we got the door panel off there, we can kind of see what access that we have in there. We eventually decided to take the speaker out because that was going to give us even another point of access to get to that lower dent. The window is going to be the last thing that we get out before we can begin on this dent. That way we don't have that in the way or a chance of breaking that laminated glass. There's a better look of the dent once we get this thing in the light. Trying to see what kind of access we've got so we can decide which tool we're going to be able to use on it. That up there was actually in a brace. So there was a little bit that we used with that soft tip tool. Then we actually had to switch to a hook tool to kind of get up underneath that brace. There was a little bit at the front of that door that we had to use the whale tail on. That was about the only thing that would squeeze up there. After us going through several different tools to finally get up in that tight brace, we're finally on it. Now he's going to be working that out. Next we're going for the lower door, so we're switching tips. As you can see, this one was a pretty sharp dent, so you can tell that we actually had to kind of bunch it up a little bit more before we could blend it out. Now we got that middle one part way done, and we're going to work to the one on the very bottom, which was the one that we thought was maybe going to have to make us take the entire door off there. We was able to get that little light low enough that we could kind of see the right angle to fix that. Now we're going to go back with a little bit of glue to kind of clean up some of the last little bit of those dents. Aluminum doesn't pull very good with glue, so unfortunately we got to do it several times, which that kind of adds time to the repair and obviously cost to the repair. Gonna do just a little bit more final cleanup and then a little bit of blending down low. We're gonna buff that scuff off there and we'll make sure everything looks good before we start getting this door panel all put back together. Everything's good, so now we're gonna start getting it together. Glass is going back in. That just clips into the track there, testing it to make sure it works. We're going to get that speaker hooked back up the way it was. Then we'll have to go through and put the moisture barrier on there, the weather strip, and then the cable for the door handle. And we'll get that door panel popped back on there and get the last couple screws in there. One at the top, a couple of them at the bottom, then a few more right by the handle. Now we can get a good look at what we finished with when we're done. You're going to see that little paint chip there at the bottom. Just one little chip. We ended up mixing some paint up for it after the video and put a little touch up on there as a courtesy to the customer. Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch that video. If you're interested in seeing more, whether it be detailing, ceramic coating, or paintless dent repair or window tint, please take time to like, share, and subscribe. We got another good one coming out here pretty soon. It's going to be a Fisker Ocean that we ceramic coated. This thing had some matte paint on it, so it made it much more difficult, but I think it's going to be a good video. Hey, thanks again. See you on the next one.